Okay, this was fun. So let's go ahead and jump in to our training. So excited for you guys to be on tonight. Social media is so huge, and it's such a core piece of our business. And a lot of the knowledge that I have has come from trial and error, from collaborating with many of you. Also some formal training that I have invested in and taking, and following the leaders. So, when I started doing Isogenics as a business 3 years ago, I knew that I wanted to do it big. I knew I wanted to be all in, and I was willing to do whatever the leaders were doing. When I first started, honestly, from the first event I went to, they trained old school style, belly to belly, on the phone. That's all that my upline was doing at the time. Everything was on the phone, which was, it seemed natural to me because when I was in my former company, which had been years ago, that's all we knew as well. We didn't know social media, but as I continued, I did it that way, and I evolved my skills in that area, but I also realized that a lot of the top leaders were utilizing social media. And so I realized quickly that I've got to get on board and see what they're doing. And so I started following leaders in Isogenics to see what they were doing. Like I said, I formally invested in some training to learn more, and a lot of it was just trial and error. And what I would like to share with you tonight are the skills that I've learned that we have utilized in our team that have allowed us to create a significant income. As I've shown many of you and shared, this is my first six-figure year I just finished, and the other day I was calculating, of my personally enrolled team, how many came in because of social media being such a significant factor, and it was about 75%. And if you talk to the top leaders industry-wide in the profession of network marketing, and even within Isogenics, especially the newer ones, in the last few years, 3, 4, 5 years, they will tell you that social media has, accounted for, usually I hear 90% and up. For me, it was 75% when I did the math of my personally enrolled came from social media. Now, if you include everybody that has branched out, the sharing and everybody in our team is probably much higher than 75%. But of my personally enrolled, it's about 75% came from social media. So, and that's a lot of the questions that we get is, how do I post? What do I say? How often do I post? And here's the thing with social media, and I'm going to go into the actual skills and the how-to, but I want to say up front that a lot of it is going to be mindset. Because a lot of us, myself included, came in with this idea of what are people going to think? I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to feel spammy. And I'll tell you, there's a way to do it so that you're not. And I will get, in this team, you guys are all just such gems. I promise you that if you are simply yourself and authentic and you're mixing it up the way I'm going to show you so that you have balanced posts, you're not going to be spammy. And in the end, it doesn't matter what other people think, because there's always going to be people who have negative things to say about what you're doing. But they're going to do that whether you're doing nothing or you're doing Isogenics or you're playing in a band. It could be anything in life. There's going to be people out there with their opinions. So you have to decide for yourself, what is it that you want from your business, for your impact to your family, for society. And the clearer you are in that, in your why and your reason, the easier this is going to be. All right, because you're going to have some uncomfortable moments. That's how we grow in this business. We post before we feel ready. I've done a bunch of those. But if you follow the system and you dig into our team, what we're doing, that it's going to be worth it. Okay? Excuse me as I take a drink of water. So let's dive in. So what to post? Many of you have heard of our 10-4-1 formula, and this is how you're going to not be spammy. Because how many times have you gone to somebody's page, probably in another marketing company, and every single post, or almost every single post, has something to do with their business, and it's about a discount, they want you to buy it, this is amazing, it's the new greatest thing, every single post. Okay, so you can definitely promote your product and our company on your page, but if you put every single post as Isogenics, you're probably going to lose some followers. So the formula we use, that's been taught even by Alexis Romano, she's $1 million per year earner in the company. She said 99% of her business comes from Facebook. She uses the ratio of 10-4-1. All right, so this is how that breaks down. 10 plus 4 plus 1, that's 15. So out of 15 posts, you want to balance it in this ratio. So those 10 are going to be not related to Isogenics. Now, they're still very intentional. They are still in alignment with who you are, which is your brand. There's a lot of talk about branding. You definitely want to brand yourself, but don't overcomplicate thinking about it. Your brand is just who you are. If you post about things that you like, things that are important to you, things that you don't like, talk about it. That's going to align with who you are. That is your brand. Okay, so 10 are going to be along those lines. They're going to be, health conscious. They're going to be inspirational. They're going to be quotes, things along those lines. All right, things about your family, activities that you're doing, show your lifestyle. Okay, that's the 10. 4 are somewhat related to isogenics. That means they're probably about isogenics, but there's no specific call to action, or there's no obvious line that it's something for sale or something for other people. So you might just celebrate yourself in your skinny jeans. You might celebrate a teammate in the before and after picture. You might put a post about how you're so thankful for your shake that makes it so convenient on the go. You might even share a story about your family or your kids and then slip in there a couple sentences about how you're using this great nutrition. It's helping you feel more energy than you have. Or you're so glad that you got a good night's sleep because of this nutrition program that you're on, and because of that you got to do X, Y, and Z during the day. So that's your 4 posts. So something that is incorporating isogenics into your lifestyle, but not blatantly an invitation to say, hey, you want to do this too. So then there's your 1. So you've done 10 for 1. So your 1 is your power post, and this is where you have a specific call to action. People have been watching you. They watch their lifestyle. They're building curiosity. What is this before and after picture? What is this shake thing that you're drinking? And then here's your power post, which is an invitation for people to show that this is something that they can be a part of, right? You've just been posting all these happy things, and then all of a sudden, oh, I can do that too? Yes. So that's the objective of a power post. And it can be about the discount. This week is a great time because they have the 10% off discount. You can post about a before and after picture with a call to action. If you're looking for a transformation like this, then you can message me or let me know. Yeah, your call to action can be specifically message me the word video and I'll send you one to watch, or it can just be who wants to join me. Both of those could be considered a call to action and a power post. And if you're following any one of the leaders on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen a lot of examples of all 3 of these types. But if you balance your post that way, then you're not going to be spammy, and you're going to gain an audience based on those posts that you're just sharing that are part of who you are and what's important to you, right? And then you're going to attract an audience, going to attract followers, people going to engage with you. And then when you post a power post, they'll be open to receive what you have to offer. And if they're looking for a solution like that, then they'll be more open to joining. Okay, so how often do you post? Well, I would say, at a minimum, spread that 15 posts out in a 1-week time frame. That's at a minimum. Now, if there is a time where you're really running for a goal, or it's a big push week for you, you want to be intentional about where you're going, I would say increase it to 7, 10, 12 posts a day, which means that you're going to be able to do a power post every day or every other day, and still stick to your ratio. So it doesn't really matter how often you make a power post. What really matters is everything around it and how you're balancing it out. Now, what I would say about posting in that frequency is that there's going to be times in this business, like I said, you have a big goal, you have a rank advancement week, or you have a promotion week like this week is, where you want to share it with as many people as possible. You have a lot of follow-ups going on. And in those types of weeks, you do want to post more. But on the other side, you never want to stop. You never ever want to stop. You want to be very consistent in your posting. At a bare minimum, post at least once a day on your personal page. And because if you're only posting, say, once a week, probably even that one post is not going to show up. So that brings us into the algorithm. So you may or may not know this, but you don't see all the posts that your friends are posting. Neither do all of your friends see all of the posts that you are making. So there are ways that we can post such that it will increase the chances of your friends seeing your posts, which is the goal, right? We're putting all this time and love and emotion and training into making the best posts that we can, and we want to make sure that people can see them. So how are ways to do that? First of all is to post more often. If you're posting once every 2 weeks, that one post that goes through probably isn't even going to show up on anyone's newsfeed. But if you're posting regularly, especially people are engaging with you, then Facebook is going to put more of your posts up there in the news feed and keep it in there longer, right? So it's a little bit of a game that we have to play, and the algorithm is always changing, so we're always learning and always adjusting. But in general, the more you post, the more that your post will show up, and also the more that people engage with your posts, the more they will. So if you're a consultant or up, we have a system in place for you, and I know a lot of you are in it, but many of you are not utilizing it. You can, if you make a post, especially a power post, but any post, even just one of your 10 non-Isagenix related posts that you want interaction on, you can copy and paste the URL into our feed, into our thread of messages, and request that people comment and like on your post. And that's the reason why, because the more likes, the more comments, and then the more that you dialogue and you reply to all the comments, the more that's going to show up in your friends' news feed. That's why we do it. Okay, and if you're not yet a consultant or you're not yet into our system like that, then just ask your sponsor, hey, I made this post, I'd love support on it, can you request help from the team? And they will gladly add it in there. But that's one of the perks of becoming a consultant. In addition to residual income, consultant is 2 referrals, 1 on each side. Then you get added into our support for that. So, and then if people do comment, then always reply, because that's going to bring your post up into it. Now, another thing that Facebook likes a lot is videos, especially live videos like this one. You may have noticed that if one of your friends on their profile page puts up a live video and you're on Facebook, you get a notification. In fact, you start to see it there in a preview, right? You get a notification about it, and if you're scrolling through your newsfeed, you're almost always going to see a live video and a video, right? So the things that Facebook does that it likes to see in Facebook is going to promote that even more. And if you have another video that you want to show, even one of yourself, keep in mind that Facebook likes to keep things in Facebook. So if you go to YouTube and take a link and post it on your profile page, it may not get as much visibility on the newsfeed, because Facebook doesn't want people to click on something and go elsewhere. It's not that it's not going to show up at all, but you're going to get a lot more if you make a video and post it directly to Facebook, or you do a Facebook Live. More people are going to see it. And that's the goal. We want to reach lots of people and share the good news about Isagenix. All right? We doing good? Hi, everybody. We got Michelle from Pooler, Christy. Awesome. Thank you guys for being on. We're going to keep going with our training. A little bit more on branding. You know, branding, like I said, is who you are. Don't put a lot of thought or worry or concern of a neatly defined brand, but just know who you are, and that's going to evolve. Mine continues to evolve, and truly it's just who you show up as on Facebook. What do you want to be known for, and what is important to you? And you know, some people say, you know, don't post about politics and religion. Well, if that's really important to you and you want to engage in those conversations on your page, then go for it. If not, it can be controversial, so just be aware of that and just be ready to engage. And you know, we have people in Isagenix who've been very successful, gained a huge following by being controversial. Other people advise not to, so that you know, you don't alienate everyone. And really, that depends on you and your passion and what you want to be about on your page, and that, you know, that brand, that authenticity, that who you are. Okay, and through that is basically what you're going to attract. So you want to attract like-minded people who are looking for what you have. When you're posting, when we get in that mindset, we're worrying about what people think. We tend, myself included in this, okay, we tend to think that when we're posting, we have to make everybody feel good. And I mean, that's kind of a state of codependency, which I've broken through a lot of that. So if you're feeling that way, that's what it is. Once you realize that you are yourself, and we're not here to make everyone feel comfortable, but we are here to touch certain people's lives. And the more that we show up as we are, unique, the more of those people that we're intended to touch that we can reach, right? And we can touch them in an authentic way and offer this gift of Isagenix. There are people that you can reach that none of us else on the team can reach, just because you're going to be able to connect in a different way than anyone else. So post authentically. Excuse me. Let me take another drink of water. How are we doing, guys? Awesome. All right. Before we move on, I'm just going to touch briefly later on a little bit about Instagram and LinkedIn. But I do want to share about our product page, which is one of our best. Thanks for the hearts and likes, you guys. Which one of our best tools. The product page is our Real People, Real Results EHP page. And we refer to it as a product page, so we post about the products in there and information. And this is one of the best and easiest tools to share Isagenix with other people. Because let's say either accidentally you run into somebody who wants to know more, they ask you about your results, or you've intentionally reached out to somebody, as we've been training in the last few weeks, to if they're open to looking at Isagenix and they say yes, you can just add them into this product page. Now, some of you have realized that just adding somebody to the page and then like letting go doesn't do the trick. Like anything else, the product page is a tool to incorporate into what you're already doing. So the interaction, the relationship with them, building rapport, and the follow-up with them is so important. So I want to share with you a few tips that you can maximize the product page, because here's what the product page can do. So this was about almost a year and a half ago. I had been in a drought of enrollments. I'm very consistent in my posts and reaching out to people, but the number of people actually saying yes had been a long drought, like a month or more, even with consistent action. Around that time, we started being trained on how to use a product page, and I started implementing it this way. And I would add people to the page, right? That's what you do first. You add people to the page. Then you welcome them in a post, and you tag them. I'm so excited to welcome Susie Smith. She's here to check out Isagenix. Now, when you do that, if you can also, like, she's a mom, she's an athlete, something about her so people can connect with her, then that would be great. Then in the comments of that post, you put a video for her to watch, right? So I started doing that. Then in addition to doing that, and then everyone has a chance to welcome that person, you also want to add value to the post, to the page, right? So after doing this consistently for, I think, about a week when we started, a week or 2 weeks, then I had a promotion week, and after having this long drought of enrollments, I had 7 enrollments in a week, and I went 2-star that week, right? That was because of the product page. So if you have never used the product page in this way, I mean, this is the week. Just today they announced there's a promotion, the 10% off, but even if there's not promotion when you're watching this video, if it's in a week that you are ready to dive in and go for it, I would say post like crazy. The leader that I learned this from had this saying that those who post the most make the most. So, and she was posting like 10, 12 times a day. I'm going to do that. So here's what I did. When, if you have a list of people that you've talked with about Isagenix that have expressed interest that are not in the page yet, I say go ahead and add them all in there and send them a message. Say, hey, I'm adding you to this group. If they've already expressed an interest, they've identified themselves as something. Like, don't go adding strangers, people you haven't talked with about Isagenix, or people who have not expressed an interest. I wouldn't recommend that. But if somebody has identified themselves as somebody who's interested to learn more, to say, hey, we have this product page. I'm sorry I didn't add you before. This is the best way for you to see the information that you are interested in learning. So I'm going to add you to this page. Okay? That they're adults. If they want out, they can remove themselves or turn off notifications. But again, if they have already identified themselves as somebody who's interested, add them to the page. So just add them all to the page. Now, one thing too, but you don't want to do a whole bunch of welcome posts all at once, because that makes it really messy and not valuable on the page. So what I did after I added everyone to the group is that I would, 2 or 3 at a time, I would do welcome posts. So if you are adding people one at a time, then just as you add them, 1 or 2 at a time, as you add them, put a welcome post. Now, each time I put a welcome post, I would provide content to the page, right? This is critical. You can't just add people to the page and then let it go and let it do its thing. It's really important that for each person you add, that you contribute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 content posts. And the content post can be an article from isagenixhealth.net. It can be somebody's before and after picture. It can be your own before and after picture. It can be a picture of your favorite product and why you love it, the details about that product. It can be an image of you using the products in your lifestyle. There's so many things. I mean, in that page, Real People, Real Results, EHP, which, by the way, stands for Extremely Happy People, which is appropriate, I feel. You can find lots of examples of all of these types of posts. So after you add people, and you put, if you can put those content posts, especially ones that you feel are specific to the people that you've added, that you think will find, you don't have to tag them in all of them, but just post the ones that you think will be valuable to them, like about pregnancy if they're pregnant, or about the AMP line if they're athletes. Then, you can follow up with them a day or 2 later, go back to their welcome post, and just comment, hey, I hope you're enjoying this product page, finding great information. Here's another video. You can share, there used to be a great video that was, that showed the packs that was getting started by Eric Hoover. If you can still find it, that's a great one. Otherwise, you can share the You Share, They Share, Repeat video, or any other follow-up video that you want. Then send them a private message and say, I hope you're enjoying the product page. Can I answer some questions for you? Is there anything that I can help clarify for you? Have you seen something that you like? Okay, so they may or may not respond to that, But then your goal from that point on is to continue to contribute content to that page every single day, at least once. Like, you can do more than that. I typically try to do more. And if you're in a run, like I was saying this week, if you want to run, those who post the most make the most. So just go do the 12, 15 a day, like I was at that time when I really super rank advanced. But at a minimum once a day, and this is why that's important. The people that you've added are your Facebook friends, right? So if they are not Facebook friends with anyone else in the group, they might not ever go back to that group on their own. They're not going to get a notification. It's not going to show up in their timeline. You know, you put them in the group and welcome them, but then they're never going to see it. But if you post in the group, they're going to get a notification. They're going to see it. And what happens a lot of times, and we hear stories about this in our team, is that after you post, that draws their curiosity back in, and then they start scrolling the page. They see more things that resonate with them, and they're more likely to make a decision. And that's the whole thing. The whole reason we have that product page is for people to browse information on their own time to get the information they need to make their own decision. Of course, we follow up and get on the phone and answer them as well. But that is the beauty of the product page. So to maximize it, add your people in there, add a welcome post, and add content at least once a day, bare minimum. Like on vacation, every single day. I think I missed one, and it was like a time zone difference, and it was like 2 a.m. or something. But truly, at least once a day, your consistent efforts will pay off. I promise you. And Tasha, I see your questions, so I'm going to try to come back to those. I'm not reading them right now, but remind me at the end and we'll do that. Okay? Because it's consistent post. And also with consistency, you know, this is the same on your page as it is in the product page. Your consistent effort is what's going to pay off. Because some people have asked me, well, this is a promotion week. When's the next promotion going to come so that I can manage my efforts? And my answer is always, if you work consistently, it's going to be the best. Because we don't know when the promotions are going to be. And what a lot of people do is they'll sit back and the promotion week, like, oh, I better get to work. But what we find is people typically, some will buy right away, but usually people make their decision after they've been in the page for a while or after they've been shared the information several times. And if you're just now getting into action during the promotion week, then you kind of missed the window. But if you've been in action the whole time, like the story I shared, it was a couple weeks of posting in the product page, and all of a sudden, bang, the promotion week came up. Then I enrolled 7 in a week, and that's how the product page is supposed to work. All right? Great. Another thing, when you post in the product page that much, there's going to be a lot of notifications. Don't get lost in notifications. It can be very overwhelming. There's some days when I simply don't keep up. Like today, I've been on Facebook. I've gone in a few times to post things, to share things, to check how things are, comment on a few things that I've seen. But I'm approaching, usually gets 99 plus. I'm in the 90s right now. Notifications for the day, and I will check them before I go to bed tonight. But don't feel like you have to keep up with all of them, because you will get a lot if you're posting that much in those groups. Okay. All right, great. All right, okay, I'll go, Tasha, to your question. Is there another follow-up video you recommend to share with me? No, I mean, the getting started was the best. You share, they share, repeat is great. Pick and go to isomovie.com and pick anyone and share it. Even better, this is one case where I would recommend going to YouTube instead of isomovie.com to share a link. In the product page, if you share a YouTube link, they can play YouTube from within Facebook. If you post isomovie.com, it's going to take them out of Facebook and out of the page. So go to YouTube, Isogenics channel, copy and paste the URL, paste it in the comments. You share, they share, repeat, I think is the best. If you don't like it, pick another one. Another product video. Any video is fine. They're all good. All right, let's touch really quick on Instagram and LinkedIn, and then I'm going to take your questions. All right? So Instagram, just basic, it's very similar to Facebook, except that a few advantages is that you get to see every single post. Nothing is hidden. There's no algorithms. You post it, it's going to show up. So that's great. You can post more often. You can post 12, 15 times a day in Instagram, and it's great. It's normal. You can post a lot of hashtags in there. Hashtags on Facebook are just kind of for fun, but hashtags on Instagram are how people find you. And there's a new app that I just learned about from the Isogenics leader, and the app is called Tag-O-Matic. And if you're going to use Instagram for your business, I would highly recommend doing it, because as you put more hashtags, more people find you and start to follow you, and you gain an audience. I've probably grown my audience 300 or 400 400 people just in the last month from implementing this. So what you do is you find a word that you want to hashtag and find. Maybe it's health or wellness. Maybe it's Super Bowl like we just had. Something that you want to post about or attract an audience from, and you type it into Tagomatic, and it'll list you the top 30 trending hashtags associated with that hashtag. And you just copy, paste it to Instagram, and paste it and post it, and you'll gain a following that way. But you can put a lot more, like 1 in 5, I think is recommended for your call to action post. So out of every 5 posts, you can put one call to action. DM me, which is direct message in Instagram. DM me the word video to learn more, or you can put your phone number in there. Text me for more information. In Facebook, sometimes I'll put comment below for information. In Instagram, there's a lot of business that goes on there, so I wouldn't necessarily ask people to comment below because other people can connect with those leads, because a lot of people are on there doing that. So I would ask them to private message you what you want. Instagram is good. Business-wise, it's just starting to pick up for me. I've gotten about 3 true leads total, 1 enrollment from Instagram so far. So I'm still learning and growing with it too. LinkedIn is another one. LinkedIn, I have had probably about 5 real leads from it and 1 enrollment. And it's a great platform. It's very professional based, so you probably want to take out some of the emojis. But the great thing is there's people on there looking for business, for money, for jobs. You can post a lot about business in there. But there's also people looking to be healthy. There's a lot of transformation. So if you do LinkedIn, I encourage you to find a lot of the Isagenix leaders in there, follow what they're doing, post what they're doing, post before and after pictures. I would say 1 to 6 times a day. Again, be consistent, whichever platform you choose. Just be consistent with it, and be open to conversing with people, just like in Facebook, and building real conversations. All right, I want to back up one more thing to Instagram. One of my favorite things that is on there is called Instagram Stories. I've heard it's like Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat, but Instagram Stories I use, and they are so fun. So you take a series of pictures or 15-second videos that are your story of your life throughout the day, and it keeps up there for about 24 hours. You can post anything that you're doing. You can post stuff about your products. You post about your life, stuff with your kids. If you're on Instagram, follow me, and you'll see. I think all of mine were yesterday, and I think I don't have any in the last 24 hours, but I'm on there a lot, and that's really fun. I'd encourage you to do that, and also, again, follow the Isagenix leaders and see what they're doing on there. Oh, Jahan, thank you so much. I miss you, girl. Hope we get to connect next time I'm in Texas. All right, so that's my content for tonight to get started on social media. So now I'd love to answer your questions. Go ahead and comment, write your questions in about social media, Facebook, product page, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even while I'm speaking, feel free to go ahead and type in your questions, because I'll be able to scroll through. And there is a little bit of a delay from when you type it and when I see it. So, so keep typing even if I'm talking, answering another question. So excited for this. What questions do you guys have about social media? I'm not seeing it yet while you're typing away. I just want to also give a shout out to Christy, who I know is on tonight. Christy Ellsworth has built on social media almost exclusively. When she got to executive, she was in a remote village, 40 people, no car, no road access at all. So Facebook was her thing, social media. We both kind of learned it and did it together, and she absolutely crushed it. So she has amazing posts. So Christy Ellsworth is a great one to follow on Facebook to copy what she's doing, and she's getting lots of hearts because she's the best. But it just goes to show you that anything could happen. And even tonight I was on a 3-way call with somebody who's interested both in the products and the business. And one of the things he said is that he hadn't been here. He lives here in Savannah. He said he hadn't been here for about more than a year and a half. So he didn't know a lot of people. What could he do? And I said we could train him using social media, because he'd also shared with me previously in the conversation a couple other places that he had lived. And I shared that I personally moved to Savannah 2 months before I decided to grow Isagenix as a business. And a lot of the contacts that I had were through Facebook. And when you do that, you can have a worldwide global business. So that's awesome. All right, Jahan said, Facebook is used for keeping in touch with distant family. How do you make some private and some not? Okay, so great question. So if you're using Facebook to grow your Isagenix business, then that's just something to consider. When I decided to grow Isogenics as a business use social media, I decided that my social media page was going to be for business. So yeah, I do still keep in touch with friends, and I still do keep in touch with family. I post stuff about family, but I'm mindful of it. I don't post as much, and you can, Jahan, adjust the settings so that some posts are only to friends and some posts are to public. That's one thing I forgot to mention earlier, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Always put your posts, especially your Isogenics ones, to public. That way, when your friends comment and like, then their friends can see it, and their friends can see it, and their friends can see it, and it can go viral. Like, it gives more visibility. But you can adjust the privacy on your individual ones. And truly, it's up to you at some point to make the decision. Am I going to keep my Facebook page just as a way to keep in touch with friends, or am I going to use my Facebook page to do that, and also to be my platform to grow my business? So mine is both, but I keep in mind when I post stuff about I probably post less about my kids than I did before, just because that's probably all I posted about. That and couponing before. Now I use it intentionally to grow an income, and that's how I do it. So I hope that answers your question, Jahan. Mandar, can you talk more about the group that helps with likes and comments? Do you have to be a consultant for that? I know some of you helped me with my curiosity post. Is that similar? Yes, exactly, Mandar. When you made your post, I think it was Ladan posted a request in our thread. That is again a perk for consultants at Up. So from your post, a lot of the comments came from our team. So get to two people. I mean, you're in action, so I'm sure you can find two people very quickly. That is a perk. But if you're not in there yet, just request it, because usually if you're not consultant yet, you're working with somebody very closely anyway. And so we will post in there, and then once you're in there, you're also expected to participate and comment on other people's requests as well. So it's a lot of fun. Christy Denner, any tips for attracting more followers on Facebook? Great question. So first of all, make everything public, like I was sharing. Second of all, it's a great point. Always be growing your friends list. I would say start doing some searches and getting creative. Think about activities you've been involved with in the past. Think about all your alumni, high school, grade school, college, that you've been involved with. Another way that's very powerful, and I'll admit I haven't used this as much as I should, but you can join groups that are authentically your interests. Like you can join teachers group around your profession, or you can enjoy, if you like pets, you like horses, you like cats, you like sewing, you like gardening, like join a group like that. Contribute, participate in the post, just be yourself. You don't have to post about Isogenics, but if you've made your post public and you've been intentional about your post and it's positive and it's uplifting and it's exciting and creates curiosity, then if you're contributing and making authentic friends in that group, they're going to go check out your page. Like, who's this girl? I want to follow them. So they'll either send you a friend request or a follow, and then they'll follow. So that's really a great way. And then it's just posting consistently and contributing value to. Think about your ideal customer. Is it a mom? Is it a working mom? Is it a certain age group? 25 to 35. Think about that person and think about, what is she looking at? What questions does she have? What is she looking for quick meal ideas? Maybe you can put quick real meal recipes. That's a value that people can want to follow you for, or time-saving tips, or mom tips, or I know, Christy, you're entering a new phase in your life with your new baby on the way. I mean, you can use that to contribute value, authentic value in your experience to other people, and that creates an authentic relationship with those people, and they'll follow you. All right, so Courtney, the first time someone messages you saying they are interested in what you are doing, what do you recommend as your response without being too lengthy or giving them too much information fast? Great information. A great question. I just posted this on the page, and I'm going to find it and read it to you. But you're right. Basically, whenever somebody requests information from you, your objective is to, share it as little as possible and get them to a tool as quickly as possible. So a tool is the product page, like we were just talking about, or it can be the one of the videos that you just want to message them. It can be a three-way call. It can be the webinar. It can be the Experience Isogenics Zoom call that's coming up this Wednesday night. It can be an event if you have a launch party at your house or in your area. But if you search, I posted this February 3rd, an example of your first Facebook post, and then what to say in private message. when they ask what you're doing. Like this is in our financial freedom page, the page that you're on right now. It says, when they ask what you're doing, you can say, as an example, I'm using Isogenics. Have you heard of it? It's amazing nutritional food and cleansing. I'll add you to my private Facebook group so you can take a look around and learn more. What health goals are you looking to achieve? All right, so what I've done there is I've answered their question. I asked them, have you heard of it? Just kind of as an icebreaker. They may or may not actually answer that question because they're not going to answer a question except for the last one. You always want to end with a question. I'm going to let them know I'm going to add them to a Facebook group because they have identified themselves as someone who's interested, and this is the best way to show them information is to add them to the group. But then I still want to engage in them. I want to find out what they really look to achieve. So I end with, what goals are you looking to achieve? All right, with your health. So that would be my favorite example. So go check that out. Christy Denner says, so if my posts aren't public, because you're intentionally hiding certain people, I understand, that is affecting my reach. I would say so. Because a lot of times when I post something that attracts a lot of interest, I'll have likes from people that are not my direct Facebook friends, but like they're friends of friends of friends, or sometimes there's no connection at all. Like there's one recently, she, I think she liked one of my posts, so I sent a friend request to her. She accepted, and we didn't have any interaction. But then on one of my posts, she asked, "What is this all about? I want to know." And we got on the phone and talked. Like I honestly, we don't have any mutual connections. So I would encourage you to set as much public as you can. And with the question, yes, Mandar, that is genius. It's brilliant. It's the best piece of advice I can give you. Whenever you're private messaging anybody, anything, if you want to continue the conversation, always end it with a question. And that way, if you put, a lot of times I used to put the question at the top, but then nobody goes back and answers it. Or have you ever received a message like that where they asked you a bunch of questions and you got to the bottom and then you're like, okay, what was I supposed to answer? You have to scroll back up and figure out what you're supposed to, so end with the question and the last question and then stop. Same with your speaking. Like if you want to engage in conversation, say a question and stop. Because we have that tendency also when we're speaking to say a question and we keep talking and then it's kind of awkward, right? Okay. How comfortable are you adding others as friends? Great. I say go do it. Friends of friends, add them as a friend and just see what happens. If they're open to connecting, then it's probably a good opportunity. I heard from Laura Stevens once when she came to this area in a small group. One of the things she did early on was, when you're scrolling through Facebook, there's occasionally this line of recommended friends. She just goes through and friend requests all of them and see who responds, and she has more followers. So absolutely, go for it. We're looking to expand the reach as much as we can and to share the information. Awesome. Christy says, great advice with ending with a question that made a huge difference for me when I shifted a few weeks ago when I was running for the bonus. Yay! Yes, ending with a question to keep your friends engaged in your conversation. Great questions, you guys. Love this. This social media, like I was saying in the initial post when I announced this training, social media plus the health and wellness industry plus e-commerce plus network marketing right now is golden. It's a perfect storm, and it's seen across the profession of network marketing. A lot of companies are taking off, and if you do it right, it's really going to take off for you. Good, Karen, I answered your question. Yay! So glad. So glad. Yeah, always look to grow, get creative on how you can reach more people, and always be growing your list of friends. And even when you meet people in person, even if I don't bring up Isogenics, I always try to find a way to connect with them and invite them. Like, can I connect with you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? I'd love to be your Facebook friend and stay in touch. You don't have to say anything. If they go to your Facebook page and they start looking, hey, what is this thing that you're doing? It's a great lead-in. Any ideas for dealing with negative comments that may show up on your posts? I mean, it depends on how negative. I would just delete it. Or if it's negative, sometimes once I put a before and after post, and we had a lot of comments like, yeah, she looks amazing. And then there's one post like, oh, I think she looks awful, and she's not healthy, and she's too skinny. And in that case, it was so opposite and ridiculous of the post. I just, I left it there, and I just commented, thank you for sharing your opinion. And I left it there. And I think if you do that, it shows posture. But I mean, if it's somebody, like I've taken posts down before, I've taken comments down before, because like people would try to, it wasn't even on isogenic stuff, just people would try to analyze what I was trying to say, and no, that's not true, and try to like bring the Bible into it, and like I just, I didn't want that even on my page. And like if those people really cared, they would respect you enough to take it to private message. So that's why like I would take it to private message. If it's going to be on your wall, then I mean, again, it depends. It depends on what it is, what your branding is, how you feel about it, if this is somebody you really care about. There's no black and white answer on this, but I hope that gave you at least a little bit of an answer, Christy. Because it can happen sometimes, that's for sure. Great questions, you guys. I think we're about ready to wrap up. I see the questions slowing down. Anything else? Good. Glad that helped. Okay. Okay, so if there's another question that shows up, I'll do it. But in wrapping up, I'll just say, as you're posting, don't get wrapped up in the likes. Don't get wrapped up in your head about what people are going to think. One thing that helped me, especially in the beginning, was just thinking that, if this post reaches just one person, it's worth it. Like those days when I posted something and then I wanted to hide under the table or run out the door and not check Facebook for a while because it felt so uncomfortable. On those days, I just thought to myself, if this touches one person, and maybe I didn't know immediately who that one person was, but what I found was that over time, consistently posting, that the people that were following me and are most interested, usually the ones that weren't liking, weren't commenting. So post consistently in alignment with who you are, authentically. Share this because there are people looking for this solution for health and wealth. It's creating so much stress in the world, and we have this vehicle that can save people. So don't hesitate to share it. Just post, share your heart, share what it can do for people, and the right ones will show up. All right, thanks for being on tonight. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate your questions. You guys are awesome. Let's go out there and rock social media and keep posting and change some lives. Thanks you guys for being on. Good night.